Hello there, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. Tonight we drift beyond the soft blue of our home world and into the silent red of another, a place that glows faintly in the night sky like a distant ember, steady and patient. This is Mars. Mars is not just a planet, it's a memory suspended in the solar wind, a world once full of movement, now frozen in a quiet balance. Its deserts stretch for thousands of miles, sculpted by winds that whisper endlessly across plains of dust, the color of faded sunset. Its mountains rise like echoes of time, ancient, patient, unmoving. To look upon Mars is to see a reflection of Earth's past, and perhaps its future. For centuries, we have looked up at its warm glow and felt curiosity stir. Its light feels different from the stars. Not cold, but inviting, as though it remembers what warmth once was. In every telescope and every dream, Mars has been the symbol of possibility, solitude, and calm, a quiet world that keeps its own time, far from the noise of life. So tonight, let's explore Mars, not as astronauts or scientists, but as travelers of thought. We'll wander through its canyons, touch the dust that once knew rivers, and watch its soft red horizon curve into forever. Breathe slowly. Let your mind grow still, and drift with me through the most relaxing facts about Mars, the planet of quiet fire and ancient peace. Mars is smaller than Earth, but it feels vast in its silence. Its landscapes stretch so far that the horizon seems to bend closer, as if the planet is gently folding around you. The air is thin, made mostly of carbon dioxide, so the wind carries no sound, only motion. On Mars, silence isn't the absence of noise, it's a presence of calm. Every grain of dust moves like thought, slow and measured, across valleys carved millions of years ago. The color of Mars comes from rust. Iron minerals in its soil react with oxygen, coating the planet in a thin blush of red. But beneath that hue lies stone gray and volcanic black, reminders of the fire that once lived within. Mars, in a way, is a planet covered in memory, each color a layer of what has been. The red is only the surface story. The deeper tale lies in darkness, in heat long cooled, in energy long spent. At sunrise, the Martian sky glows faintly blue. The dust scatters light differently there, reversing the colors we know. A blue dawn and a pink day. When the sun rises, it does so slowly, weaker than on Earth, but gentler too. Shadows stretch for miles, cold and pale, painting the land in soft gradients of amber and gray. Even light behaves quietly here. The largest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons, rests on Mars. It rises almost 3 times higher than Mount Everest, but its slopes are so gentle that you could walk from base to summit without ever noticing the climb. Standing there, you would see the curve of the planet itself. Yet no one stands there, no voice echoes. The calm of that place is total, a cathedral built by time, not hands. Mars once had rivers. Evidence of them lies etched into its valleys, dried channels that twist and braid like veins. They speak of a time when water moved freely, when clouds gathered, and rain fell in soft whispers. To imagine that now is to imagine a ghost of warmth, a planet that once breathed, now dreaming in stillness. Each dust storm on Mars is a slow waltz of particles drifting rather than raging. Some last for months, circling the planet in graceful silence. Seen from orbit, they look like soft amber veils, wrapping a sleeping world. Even its storms are calm, more dance than destruction. The sunsets on Mars are blue. As the day ends, the thin atmosphere filters sunlight in reverse, painting the horizon with sapphire light that fades into orange. It's the color of calm inversion, a world that does everything opposite of ours, yet somehow feels familiar. To stand there beneath a blue sunset on a red world would be to feel time fold softly inward. If you were to walk across the Martian plains, Your footsteps would make no sound. The air is too thin to carry it. Your shadow would stretch long and pale. The light would have no warmth. Yet there would be peace, the kind that comes only in places where nothing moves except the wind and your own breath. Mars offers solitude not as emptiness, but as sanctuary. Even its moons, Phobos and Deimos, move quietly. They are small, irregular, more like captured stones than moons. They circle Mars silently, their orbits swift, their shapes rough. On the surface, their passage would cast shadows like fleeting thoughts, gentle, momentary, gone. Every night on Mars is accompanied by their silent dance, a reminder that even in stillness, motion continues. Mars has seasons, just like Earth. Its tilt and orbit create winters and summers, though colder and longer. Frost forms at dawn, a whisper of ice that melts away as the weak sun rises. At the poles, layers of frozen carbon dioxide expand and shrink with the seasons, breathing the planet in and out. Mars is not dead, it rests. Its thin atmosphere lets starlight reach the surface undimmed. The night sky there is sharp, full of clarity, no haze, no shimmer. The stars hang steady, and among them Earth appears as a bright pale blue dot. Imagine standing there looking up and seeing home glowing faintly in the dark. Small, fragile, familiar. That distant light would be the most comforting thing in the universe. There are places on Mars where dust dunes ripple endlessly, shaped by centuries of patient wind. The patterns look like waves on a frozen sea, the texture of time made visible. If you could run your hand across one, it would feel like silk turned to stone. These dunes move only inches each year, a pace so slow it feels eternal. Mars teaches us that motion doesn't always mean progress. Sometimes it means persistence. The calm of Mars is not emptiness, it is patience made visible. The planet moves through its long orbit at a pace that would test the attention of anything alive. One Martian year lasts nearly twice as long as ours, its seasons stretching into graceful, unhurried arcs. Spring unfolds like a slow breath, the air thin but bright, the ground glowing with frost before dawn. In that extended rhythm, there is no hurry. Mars reminds the universe that not all beauty must be brief. When sunlight touches its polar caps, the ice begins to shimmer faintly before turning to vapor. The change happens quietly, like a thought forming at the edge of awareness. What looks frozen forever still carries the memory of motion. Even in this stillness, Mars keeps its secret cycles, expansion and retreat, freezing and release, a planet breathing in silence. Beneath its surface, scientists believe water may still rest, locked away in shadowed soil or sealed beneath ancient glaciers. Instruments have whispered hints of liquid deep below, moving so slowly it could take centuries to travel a few meters. That hidden flow, unseen and unheard, might be the last echo of the oceans that once shaped its face. The thought itself brings calm. Even when the world appears dry, something within it remembers softness. The air on Mars carries dust like perfume, fine grains of rust that drift endlessly, painting the horizon in layers of bronze and rose. When wind moves across the plains, it raises curtains of color that fall again with the same grace as feathers. The process repeats forever, rewriting the surface gently, as if the planet were editing its own dreams. Near the equator lies Valles Marineris, a canyon so vast it could swallow the Grand Canyon whole. It stretches across a fifth of the planet's circumference, its cliffs carved by time and forgotten rivers. Standing at its edge would feel like looking into the pause between seconds. Shadows move slowly there, descending wall by wall until they reach the floor miles below. Nothing stirs, yet everything breathes. The air, the rock, the dust, all waiting without expectation. When night falls, Mars cools quickly. The heat of day escapes through its thin atmosphere, and the surface radiates a faint, invisible shimmer into space. The stars respond with stillness. The entire planet seems to exhale. This nightly cooling is one of the quietest processes in the solar system. Energy fading, returning to equilibrium, soundless and endless. Mars does not have oceans, yet it holds waves of its own. The dunes that cross its deserts behave like frozen tides, rising and falling under the touch of invisible wind. Each ridge throws a soft shadow, a line of rest drawn by air itself. To walk among them would be to move through silence shaped into form. Every step would erase itself behind you, leaving the land exactly as it was, untouched, eternal. The soil of Mars is magnetic. Fine particles align with the planet's faded field, forming delicate patterns that respond to every gust. These tiny alignments are invisible to the naked eye but clear through instruments, threads of order, weaving through chaos. Even in dust, the planet keeps its quiet structure. Even in disorder, there is pattern. At certain times of year, frost creeps across the ground at dawn, forming lacework around stones and ridges. Under the weak morning light, it glows pale blue, like the surface of distant ice. Within an hour, it evaporates, leaving no trace except a memory of coolness in the air. This fleeting beauty, seen by no living eye, happens daily across a world that sleeps in plain sight of the sun. Mars rotates once every 24.5 hours, almost the same rhythm as Earth. Its day is familiar, its shadows lengthen in the same cadence as ours. If you stood there, watching the horizon brighten, it would feel like home, but quieter, simpler, stripped of noise and distraction. The kinship between our worlds lies not in their color, but in their shared pulse of day and night, light and rest. Rocks on Mars tell stories older than any on Earth. Without rain or vegetation to wear them down, they keep their edges sharp, their layers legible. Each band of stone is a chapter of climate, a record of ancient air and vanished seas. To run a hand across one would be to touch 4 billion years of stillness, history not written, but crystallized. The dust storms of Mars begin without warning. A small swirl becomes a veil becomes a storm, and soon half the planet hides beneath soft red haze. Yet even these tempests move with grace. There are no crashes of thunder, no violence, only the steady dance of particles carried by wind. When the dust finally settles, the world looks new, as though it has been gently washed clean. Mars reflects sunlight with a quiet, diffused glow, not bright enough to dazzle, but enough to comfort. From space, it appears as a small sphere of calm fire against the black. Its light is steady, unwavering, reaching out across millions of miles to touch the eyes of those who watch it from Earth. To gaze upon it is to be reminded that even distance can carry warmth. The planet's thin atmosphere paints its skies a soft salmon color by day and deep violet by night. In twilight, these colors blend into mauve and gold, creating horizons that shimmer between dream and waking. If there were music for Mars, it would sound like that color, low, slow, endless, made not of notes but of intervals of silence. Every rover that has touched down there becomes an emissary of stillness. Their wheels move gently, their cameras blink slowly, and their transmissions cross space like whispers. Each image they send carries not just data, but the feeling of distance, the patience of light, traveling minute after minute through emptiness, carrying with it the quiet of an entire world. Even now, dust settles softly on those rovers, wrapping them in a golden shroud. Some have fallen silent, their signals fading into the hum of background radiation, yet they remain there, tiny monuments to curiosity, gathering dust under a sky they once photographed. Their silence is not an ending, it is participation. They have joined the planet's calm. Mars has no sound of water, no call of life, yet it hums faintly with vibration. Instruments have recorded tremors deep underground, the subtle shifting of rock. These Mars quakes are gentle, more murmur than movement, like the planet adjusting its posture in sleep. Even in that tremor, there is peace, the slow rearranging of a body at rest. If you could stand on Mars at midnight, you would feel the faint pull of its smaller moons rising above the horizon. Phobos would move quickly, circling the sky in a matter of hours, while Deimos would hang low, tracing its path like a slow heartbeat. Their light would be soft, their motion unhurried. Together they would mark time in the gentlest way possible. When dawn comes again, frost fades, dust glows, and shadows return to their quiet roles. Mars begins another day, the same and yet completely new. Every sunrise there is a lesson in endurance. Even in the coldest places, light arrives. Even in silence, motion continues. The planet asks nothing of the universe except to be allowed to turn. Mars may never host oceans again, but it carries the spirit of them. The dunes, the valleys, the ancient riverbeds all move with the memory of tides. The rust that coats its surface is the echo of iron once touched by water. It's as if the planet remembers being alive and keeps that remembrance as warmth beneath the cold. If you close your eyes and imagine standing there, you can almost feel the weight of that sky, thin but infinite, pressing gently down. The horizon stretches farther than the mind can hold, and in every direction there is only color, soft, muted, endless. It is a world of peace, where every breath, every pause, feels like the center of time. Mars is the planet of horizons, wide, curved, unbroken. Its landscape stretches beyond what the eye can follow, painting distance with shades of copper and rose. The air is thin but clear, revealing every contour of rock and ridge, every curve of dune shaped by patient wind. In this stillness, space feels larger than silence, and silence feels alive. Every gust, every shadow, every speck of dust becomes part of a greater rhythm, the slow breathing of an entire world. On Earth, wind whistles and sings. On Mars, it glides. There is no air dense enough to carry melody, only the soft push of invisible fingers moving across dust. The storms here have no roar. Even when they envelop the planet, they do so in quiet dignity, amber clouds circling a calm heart. To watch one from above is to see art in motion, sunlight filtered through swirling mist, shading the surface with gradients of gold and crimson. The planet never hides its weather. It wears it like a slow dance. Temperature on Mars shifts dramatically between day and night. Under sunlight, rocks warm gently, then cool sharply once the sun dips below the horizon. The air grows so cold that frost can form in minutes, tracing silver patterns across the ground. This cycle of heat and chill continues endlessly, a heartbeat of light and dark, contraction and release. Mars exists in a constant act of balancing, never static, never chaotic, always poised. The reddish glow we see from Earth is not fire, but reflection, sunlight scattered by dust. That dust is made of iron and glass, particles finer than smoke, drifting through the air like memory. When light passes through it, it becomes warm, diffused, gentle. The planet's color, then, is not a statement of heat, but of stillness, the glow of rust, of rest. It's the color of endings that do not grieve. Somewhere on the planet's equator lies a plain known as Elysium Planitia, the plain of heaven. It is one of the smoothest surfaces in the solar system, a place where volcanic rock has been worn down to quiet perfection. The land seems to ripple like frozen water, the edges blurred by wind. To stand there, if one could, would feel like standing inside a painting made of air. Even shadows appear soft, edges dissolving into dust before they reach the ground. The Martian poles are places of poetry, white spirals of ice layered like pages of an ancient book. Each line holds a season's memory, the growth of winter frost, the retreat of spring warmth. Over millions of years, these layers have built stories of air and time. When light hits them at dawn, they shine faintly blue, as though whispering secrets to the thin sky. The calm there is beyond measure. Even time seems hesitant to disturb it. Mars has mountains so large they stretch the horizon into curves. Ascraeus Mons, Pavonis Mons, Arzia Mons, volcanoes that once shaped the sky with fire but now rest in complete silence. Their peaks touch the thin atmosphere, dusted with frost that never melts. From their summits, the planet looks small and infinite at once, a world folded into peace. These ancient giants remind us that even power eventually learns to rest. In the canyons, shadows flow like rivers once did. The walls of Valles Marineris hold striations of color, ochre, rust, pale gold, each one a moment in the planet's long life. To gaze into those depths would be to see time itself compressed into layers of still beauty. When sunlight reaches the bottom, it arrives not as brightness, but as a slow, liquid glow, like honey poured into silence. The rocks of Mars are storytellers. Some contain traces of minerals that form only in water, remnants of the planet's wetter past. Others are volcanic, remnants of the restless heart that once beat beneath its crust. Scientists study them for clues, but there is another story hidden in their stillness, the story of endurance. For billions of years, they've faced the same wind, the same light, the same endless patience. They are what silence looks like after eternity. Rovers that wander this world move slowly, their wheels pressing faint tracks into the dust. Each movement takes planning, each turn measured. Yet those tracks, left behind in a place where nothing erases them, will last for centuries. The first marks of human creation on another planet, and they look like whispers written on a sleeping surface. Every photograph they send feels like a sigh across space, a quiet, "I'm here," spoken in radio waves. In the low light of Martian dusk, shadows grow long and thin, reaching across valleys until they merge into a single soft gray. The horizon turns faintly violet, the last warmth of the sun scattering in delicate haze. There is no sound, no movement, only the sensation of pause. The world holds its breath between day and night, and for a few moments, everything feels suspended. It's in that pause that peace becomes visible. When we look at Mars from Earth, we see a small red dot among countless stars. But to the human eye, that dot has always meant more than distance. It's a mirror for our longing, proof that quiet exists beyond our noise. The light we see from Mars tonight left its surface minutes ago, traveling through space at the speed of truth. That soft glow carries with it the essence of patience, the willingness to arrive when the world is ready to see it. Mars is the coldest warmth imaginable. Its surface may freeze, but its color suggests fire. That contradiction defines its calm, a balance of opposites, harmony and duality. It glows without burning, rests without dying. Every element on Mars, from the dust to the wind to the distant mountains, follows the same rule: motion without haste, stillness without stagnation. It is the perfect metaphor for sleep, energy at peace. If you could lie on the surface of Mars and look up, the stars would seem closer than on Earth. The thin air bends less light. The constellations sharpen, crisp and silent. Earth would appear small, blue, delicate, a fragile glow, drifting through eternity. Seeing it from there, you might realize that calm is not found in escaping home, but in understanding it. The same stillness that fills Mars is hidden within every breath we take here. The soil beneath your feet would crunch faintly, fine dust layering your boots, clinging to everything like quiet memory. Each step would release a tiny puff of red haze that would hang in the air for long seconds before falling again. Movement would feel slow, deliberate, respectful. Mars demands nothing less. Even walking becomes meditation here. When sunlight filters through dust storms, it breaks into shafts of golden light that pierce the haze like rays through ocean water. The effect is mesmerizing, a glowing sea of air where light swims rather than shines. To stand there would be to float between worlds, halfway between day and night, between reality and dream. It's easy to see why ancient civilizations called Mars divine, not for its fire but for its calm persistence. Each year, the planet experiences moments when Earth and Mars stand closest together. Opposition. During those nights, the red planet becomes brighter than any star, a steady beacon of soft warmth against the black. Astronomers and dreamers alike turn their gaze toward it, sharing the same silent connection across worlds. Light travels outward, attention travels back. Between them lies only distance filled with peace. To dream of Mars is to dream of patience, a place where everything moves slower, where silence holds meaning, where the horizon always promises more sky. The red planet doesn't call for conquest or discovery, it calls for reflection. It invites us to listen, not to its winds or its dust, but to the part of ourselves that understands stillness. It's not a world waiting for life, it's a world teaching us how to be quiet. Mars rests within a silence that feels almost deliberate, as though the planet has chosen tranquility as its natural state. Every rotation, every dawn and dusk repeats with the same unhurried grace. Nothing here rushes, even light seems to move with intention. With the thin air bends the sun's warmth into a faint peach-colored glow that lingers long after sunrise. Shadows soften, outlines fade, and the world exhales into clarity. On Mars, stillness is not emptiness, it's equilibrium. Across the equatorial plains, dark streaks mark the surface where dust has shifted, exposing deeper layers of basalt. These streaks appear, fade, and reappear like slow-moving tides. Scientists call them slope linei, the planet's quiet writing on its own surface. To see one from orbit is to watch time itself drift. Each mark is both disappearance and arrival. The air on Mars carries a constant hint of dust, particles so fine that they can remain suspended for days. During twilight, those grains scatter sunlight into halos, encircling the sun in a faint copper ring. Standing there, you would see a halo, not of rain, but of time. Light filtered through centuries of erosion, reflected by memory. The color would be like the last spark of a campfire, cooling in slow motion. Beneath that calm sky, the ground tells its stories through texture. Some areas ripple with dunes that migrate grain by grain. Others are crusted with salt where ancient lakes once dried. Each mineral sparkles differently under sunlight. Hematite flashing dark red, gypsum pale as snow, olivine glinting faintly green. The planet wears its geology the way an old tree wears rings, layers of endurance visible to those who linger long enough to notice. The temperature here is a lesson in contrast. At midday, sunlight can warm your suit enough for comfort. By nightfall, the ground drops to a cold deeper than any polar winter on Earth. The shift is instant, yet it feels natural, like inhaling and exhaling. Heat and cold alternate without conflict, proving that extremes can coexist peacefully when they stop competing. In some regions, dust devils spiral gracefully across the plains. Unlike earthly storms, they move silently, their columns translucent and shimmering. From orbit, they appear as thin threads tracing invisible paths across deserts wider than continents. When they pass, they leave only a faint signature on the surface, a temporary fingerprint erased by the next breath of wind. Mars never clings to disturbance. It restores balance effortlessly. Above those deserts, the sky holds a hue that defies comparison, neither fully orange nor fully pink, but a living gradient that deepens with altitude. The color shifts with every heartbeat of the sun. When astronauts describe it, they use words like muted forgiving, endless. It's the kind of sky that invites reflection rather than awe. The calmness of Mars hides a history of fire. Long ago, its interior pulsed with magma, shaping plains, carving channels, lifting mountains toward space. When that fire cooled, it left behind order. The planet that once raged settled into silence, its energy turned inward, its rest absolute. It's a reminder that even the fiercest beginnings can find peace in stillness. From orbit, Mars glows with a soft edge, not sharp like Earth's blue halo, but hazy, tender. The light seems to blur outward, merging planet and space together. There is no clear boundary, only gradient. It's as if the world is exhaling continuously into the void, blending itself with the cosmos. Watching it, you begin to understand that calm is not isolation. It's connection without noise. At certain latitudes, frost can paint the dunes in silver. Before sunrise, the landscape shimmers under faint starlight, every ridge sparkling like powdered glass. When dawn comes, the frost evaporates without sound, leaving nothing but the impression that light has touched the ground directly. The transformation happens too slowly to notice, too completely to resist. And somewhere within that rhythm, the planet feels alive, not in pulse or motion, but in patience. Every shadow, every shift of dust, every moment between sunrise and sunset participates in a harmony older than sound. Mars doesn't wait for discovery. It simply continues, content to be what it has always been, a monument to quiet persistence. When evening settles on Mars, the light thins into ribbons that stretch across the horizon. The sun shrinks to half the size it appears on Earth, but it burns a deeper orange, as if concentrating all its warmth into a farewell. Shadows lengthen until they dissolve into one another, and the sky turns from rose to violet, to a deep umber that feels like the edge of sleep. The stars begin to appear one by one, crisp and unwavering in the clean air. Night arrives not with darkness, but with clarity. In that clarity, Earth becomes a tiny blue spark, shining through the stillness like memory itself. The thought of home hovering above that quiet world gives perspective. Distance doesn't erase connection. It defines it. Between those two planets lies a space filled with light, moving silently from one to the other. A bridge made of patience. Frost gathers at the poles again while dust settles on the equator. The planet restores itself each night, returning every grain, every crystal to its place. Even erosion follows a pattern of peace. Rocks fracture slowly, their edges softening without noise. When they crumble, they join the dust that glows at sunset, continuing the cycle of calm creation. Robotic explorers rest after their tasks, their metal frames cooling under starlight. Solar panels tilt slightly, collecting what little energy lingers from a distant sun. The air around them vibrates, with the faint hum of power fading into stillness. These machines, built by restless hands, have learned the planet's rhythm. They sleep when it sleeps. They wait without complaint for dawn. The constellations above Mars are both familiar and strange. Orion's belt gleams with its same precision, but its angle is different. The familiar hunter stands askew. Familiarity reimagined, that is Mars's lesson. It changes nothing and still transforms everything. Perspective itself becomes art. To gaze upward here is to realize that the stars were never meant to belong to one world alone. The planet's air, though thin, carries whispers of chemistry. Argon, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, all balanced delicately. If the wind could speak, it would recite the history of these molecules, how they once danced in storms, cooled into frost, and drifted through centuries. Mars doesn't hide its science. It hums it softly, a lullaby of physics that comforts rather than complicates. In the earliest mornings, the land takes on the color of embered gold. The first rays of the sun slide low across the plains, catching in the dust and turning the whole sky into honeyed mist. Every shadow becomes a soft gradient, every ridge a slow wave of light. It's a world painted by patience, no harsh edges, no sudden brightness, just the smooth continuation of time. Somewhere in that moment, the line between observation and meditation disappears. Mars stops being an object and becomes a feeling. Its slow orbit, its gentle tilt, its quiet spin, all translate into one message, repeated endlessly through dust and stone: be still and endure. For billions of years, the planet has circled the sun without haste. It does not compete with its neighbors. It follows its path faithfully, carrying its calm through the void. In every orbit, in every sunrise and dusk, Mars reminds the cosmos that serenity is not absence, it is presence without demand. If you could sit upon one of its rocks and let your eyes rest on the horizon, time would loosen its grip. Minutes would feel like hours, hours like days, until duration itself became irrelevant. The wind would trace invisible patterns around you, painting your outline in dust that drifts, settles, drifts again. And somewhere inside that rhythm, the mind would quiet, the heartbeat slow, and all sense of distance dissolve. Mars does not speak, but it teaches. It shows that silence has texture, that stillness has shape. It reminds us that even a barren world can glow with peace if seen with patient eyes. Every part of it, its rusted stones, its frozen dawns, its whispering storms, echoes the same truth. Motion need not mean noise, and solitude need not mean loneliness. And as the planet turns once more toward day, its soft red light rises again to greet the endless black. The warmth touches nothing, yet it transforms everything. A new morning begins, slow and steady, on a world that has mastered the art of quiet. Mars is a world of contrast, where silence holds shape and stillness carries memory. Its surface tells stories written in stone and wind, each curve and ridge a quiet mark of time's patient hand. The planet may appear barren, but it hums with the soft rhythm of endurance. Every grain of dust, every ripple of sand, every frozen glimmer beneath its crust is part of a calm conversation between matter and time. If you could dig beneath its surface, you'd find layers of ancient ice, sheets hidden under the dust, locked away for millions of years. These frozen plains rest silently, untouched by sunlight, preserving the memory of a wetter world. Some lie just beneath the soil, others deep within shaded craters. The ice glows faintly blue under infrared light, a color invisible to human eyes but known to instruments orbiting above. Even in its deepest sleep, Mars remembers water. The air above those frozen plains is thin and dry. Carbon dioxide dominates it, with whispers of nitrogen and argon drifting quietly between dust grains. The pressure is so low that liquid water cannot survive. It would vanish instantly into vapor. Yet the air is not empty. It is alive, with particles of dust suspended by invisible currents. Every sunset, those particles scatter sunlight into colors that shift like thought: gold, pink, amber, fading into violet. Mars's atmosphere, though fragile, creates some of the most delicate optical displays in the solar system. Tiny crystals of ice in high-altitude clouds catch sunlight and form halos around the sun, pale rings glowing through copper skies. Sometimes they stretch into arcs, bending light into soft, silent rainbows made not of water, but of frozen breath. No sound accompanies them, only stillness. The landscape below mirrors that grace. Vast canyons stretch across the surface, their cliffs taller than any mountain chain on Earth. Valles Marineris runs for more than 4,000 kilometers, long enough to span from one coast of America to the other. Its floor is filled with shadow and faint fog, layers of rock stacked like pages of an ancient journal. Each line marks a time when rivers once flowed, when rain kissed the dust, when the planet dreamed of oceans. Those rivers are gone now, but their memory remains. carved channels winding through plains, branching like veins frozen mid-pulse. When the wind moves across them, it stirs the dust softly, reshaping the edges but never erasing the pattern. Mars does not forget. It keeps its history written in silence. In the northern hemisphere lies a vast basin called Utopia Planitia, a plain so wide it could hold entire continents. Underneath its surface, radar has revealed buried ice stretching for hundreds of kilometers. It lies quietly beneath a thin blanket of dust, untouched, unmoving, waiting. Scientists believe this region once hosted shallow seas, their waters freezing slowly over millennia until they became a mirror buried under sand. Even in stillness, Mars keeps its secrets preserved in crystal form. Near the equator, the ground is patterned with strange polygonal ridges, geometric marks formed when ice beneath the soil expands and contracts with the cold. These shapes resemble honeycomb patterns or cracked glass, vast and beautiful, stretching for miles. Each polygon is a frozen heartbeat, the planet's way of breathing through its own crust. To walk among them would feel like stepping across the skin of time itself. Dust devils, graceful spiraling columns of fine sand, glide across plains like ghosts of air. On Earth they would whistle and roar. Here they simply move. The wind shapes them into towers of amber light that drift and dissolve without sound. From orbit, they look like threads of silk twisting slowly across a vast canvas. Mars paints with air and light instead of brush and pigment. The planet's horizon curves more gently than Earth's. Because Mars is smaller, its roundness feels more intimate, like being wrapped in a quiet embrace. You could stand on a flat plain and almost sense the world folding softly around you. The horizon doesn't end. It invites. Every direction is both distance and return. The Martian poles hold spirals of ice that glisten under weak sunlight. Layer upon layer, they preserve the rhythm of the planet's climate, each band a season, each swirl a memory. When summer comes, parts of the cap sublimate into vapor, drifting into the sky to form thin, shining clouds. In winter, they freeze again, restoring the symmetry of calm. Mars breathes through its poles, exhaling frost and inhaling light. The rocks scattered across its surface come in every hue of quiet: red, brown, gray, gold. Some are jagged, fractured by meteor impacts. Others are rounded and smoothed by wind. The smaller stones often pile into patterns known as ripples, shaped by invisible hands of air. Under the right light, these ripples shimmer like silk laid across sand. Each curve holds the memory of 1,000 breezes, each crest a whisper of movement stilled in time. Volcanoes once roamed here too, giants like Olympus Mons and Arzia Mons, now resting under dust. Their slopes stretch for hundreds of kilometers, yet their summits rise so gently that you could climb them without ever feeling the strain. The lava that once flowed from their hearts cooled into plains so flat they mirror the horizon. These volcanoes no longer speak in fire, they hum in silence. Even power on Mars learns stillness. In the deep cold of the Martian night, temperatures drop low enough for the atmosphere to freeze. Carbon dioxide forms frost, blanketing the ground with a layer of pale crystals that shimmer like morning dew. When sunlight returns, the frost vanishes silently, sublimating back into air. The cycle repeats each day: breath, rest, breath again. The planet lives through these quiet rhythms as though time itself inhales and exhales across its surface. Its moons, Phobos and Deimos, cross the sky swiftly. Phobos rises in the west and sets in the east, racing around Mars in just 7 hours. Deimos moves slower, tracing its path like a drifting ember. Their orbits are silent, their light faint, but their presence offers balance, a pair of companions circling a solitary world. They have no glow of their own, only the soft reflection of sunlight that has touched Mars first. Even their brightness is borrowed peace. The thin atmosphere of Mars lets sunlight reach its surface almost untouched. During the day, the light feels sharper, more precise. It defines rather than floods. At night, the stars appear unfiltered, steady, and clear. With no haze or moisture to distort them, the constellations stand closer, more intimate. On Mars, the universe feels near enough to touch. Every feature of this planet speaks the same quiet language, the calm after change, the elegance of endurance. It's a world of balance, fire and ice, shadow and color, motion and pause. Mars shows that serenity doesn't mean stillness, it means harmony among opposites. Even its name carries contradiction. On Earth, Mars is the god of war. Yet here, in its true form, it is peace incarnate, the soft red light that watches over us while we sleep. The planet's calm presence in the sky has nothing to do with battle and everything to do with patience. Perhaps the ancients named it in irony, not knowing that even the god of war can rest. Every orbit, every rotation, every moment of quiet gravity connects Mars to the great rhythm of the cosmos. It doesn't compete, doesn't resist. It simply turns steady and serene. To think of it is to remember that even among stars, stillness has a place. Mars does not rush to shine. It glows gently, endlessly, as though reminding the universe to breathe. Mars lies suspended between light and cold, its red surface glowing faintly beneath the quiet breath of space. Everything about it feels deliberate, as though the planet itself has chosen calm over chaos. It turns at the same pace as Earth. Its days almost the same length, but it feels slower, gentler. Its horizon rolls out endlessly, its sky stretching thin and pale like silk woven from dust. The planet does not rush to greet the sun. It allows light to arrive softly, patiently. At dawn, the air shimmers faintly as frost surrenders to the sun. The frozen carbon dioxide glints for a moment before vanishing, leaving the ground bare and blushing red. There is no sound, no dripping, no melting, only a transformation too delicate to hear. Mars greets each morning with a silence that feels sacred. Shadows reach long and thin, touching the edges of craters before pulling back like a tide. Even light seems hesitant to disturb the stillness. In the southern highlands, craters overlap like fingerprints. Some are sharp-edged and new, others have softened, filled slowly with dust carried from far away. Together, they form a landscape that looks like thought made solid, layers upon layers of quiet impact. Each crater is a frozen echo, the memory of a moment that once shook the planet and then fell silent forever. Mars holds those moments gently, wearing its scars as part of its calm expression. Farther north, the surface smooths into plains that once held seas. There, faint traces of shorelines remain, gentle rises that curve and fade like the outline of a dream half remembered. The sand along those ancient coasts still holds minerals shaped by water. Scientists have found evidence of clays and sulfates, materials that only form when liquid moves and lingers. Mars remembers its rivers the way the body remembers warmth, not as pain, but as absence that still glows. The thin atmosphere allows sunlight to touch the ground with precision. On Earth, air scatters and softens light. Here, each beam lands directly, sharp and clean. Rocks cast distinct, unwavering shadows, their edges unblurred. Colors are truer, deeper, rust, gold, umber. It's a palette made from patience, from centuries of wind polishing stone into hues that feel eternal. Looking across those plains, one feels both small and infinite, as if perspective itself has quieted. The air itself holds stories. Though invisible, it carries subtle patterns of movement, thermals rising in daylight, collapsing in cold, currents curling around crater rims and mountain slopes. These motions are measured in millimeters per second, yet they shape the planet's weather. Dust particles rise, float, fall, repeating the same dance for centuries. Mars breathes through its storms, slow inhalations of dust, long exhalations of light. Sometimes those storms grow vast enough to wrap the entire planet. From space, they appear as a golden shroud, soft and translucent. They can last for months, yet they move with elegance, not violence. The wind on Mars may carry power, but it expresses it gently. Even its tempests are lullabies, slow turning veils that drift and fade, painting the surface anew. When the air finally clears, the land gleams freshly washed, every ridge and crater highlighted in soft relief. Mars's gravity is only a third of Earth's, and that lightness touches everything. Dust hangs longer in the air, stones fall slower, motion feels graceful. If you could walk there, each step would lift you slightly higher than expected. Even your shadow would seem reluctant to stay grounded. Movement becomes rhythm, not effort. It's as if the entire planet wants you to float. Beneath that floating calm lies an intricate crust of ancient basalt, black volcanic rock hardened from lava flows that once ran like rivers of fire. These flows cooled slowly, forming smooth plains that stretch for hundreds of kilometers. Over time, dust settled over them, painting the black and red. The fire was not extinguished, it simply learned stillness. In every rock, the story is the same. Transformation without destruction. Mars's magnetic field, once strong, faded long ago, leaving behind subtle remnants frozen in its crust. These faint signatures tell of a time when the planet was alive with energy, a molten core spinning beneath its surface, generating the invisible armor that protected its sky. When that field faded, the atmosphere thinned, and the world grew quiet. Yet even that loss feels peaceful now. Without protection, Mars became transparent, open to the universe's touch. It surrendered, and in surrender, it found eternity. On the coldest nights, temperatures fall to more than 100 degrees below freezing. Yet even then, frost forms beautifully, tracing the edges of rocks, glistening under starlight, then evaporating with the first hint of dawn. The cycle repeats endlessly, a frozen heartbeat echoing through centuries. The cold does not feel hostile here. It feels clean, honest. It preserves rather than punishes. In the silence of frost, the planet's patience becomes visible. The canyons of Mars breathe with shadow. When sunlight enters them, it bounces between walls, softening into warm tones of amber and rose. Dust suspended in air scatters that light until the whole canyon glows as though lit from within. If you could stand there, you would feel surrounded by light, not blinded by it, wrapped in it like warmth without heat. The still air would amplify every small sound, a pebble falling, a gust stirring, turning silence into music. Deep within those canyons, frozen carbon dioxide collects each winter. As spring returns, it sublimates into gas, creating faint fog that drifts lazily upward. These clouds glow faintly in morning light, hanging motionless for hours before fading. From orbit, they appear like ribbons of pearl stretching across shadowed valleys. It's a phenomenon unique to Mars. Breath made visible, life expressed in physics. Beyond those valleys, dust plains stretch to the horizon where faint ridges mark the edge of volcanoes, long asleep. Their slopes are smooth, eroded by centuries of wind. Crater rims crumble gracefully, their curves softening with age. Even erosion here feels thoughtful, unhurried, almost tender. Mars doesn't erase, it refines. Its largest volcano, Olympus Mons, is so massive it bends the planet's crust beneath it. Yet its summit is gentle, not jagged. A soft dome rising quietly toward the stars. The air there is thin beyond breath, but the view would be endless. You could see the curvature of Mars stretching into the distance, the faint halo of its atmosphere glowing like a candle flame. No sound, no motion, only the planet's steady turning below. At certain times, Thin clouds of ice drift high in the atmosphere, moving faster than the wind on the surface. They form long, delicate trails, cirrus clouds shaped by nothing but temperature and patience. They resemble feathers drawn across a canvas of pink and gold. Watching them move, you'd forget the scale, forget the emptiness. You'd only see grace, clouds gliding for the sake of beauty alone. When night returns, the sky fills with stars unbroken by air's distortion. The constellations are sharper here, their outlines fixed and eternal. Phobos and Deimos glide silently overhead, casting faint shadows across the dust. The larger moon moves so quickly that it rises and sets twice each day. If you could watch it long enough, you'd see it inch closer to the planet over time. A slow spiral inward that will end one day with its fall. Even that future feels serene. Nothing hurries. All endings arrive gently. Mars's nights are illuminated by starlight reflected from its pale dust. Even in darkness, the land glows faintly, a soft radiance that gives shape to the world without revealing detail. To walk under that light would be to move through a dream where nothing is hidden, only softened. The air would carry no scent, no sound, just the quiet pressure of existence. You would feel the gravity beneath your feet, light but certain, and realize that calm has weight too. This planet, so far from home, so unlike Earth, still feels familiar because it mirrors something within us. The longing for peace, the quiet after motion, the beauty in endurance. Mars shows us that even after the fire fades, light remains. Even when the water dries, reflection endures. It's a place where everything essential has slowed until only truth is left. Every image we've received, every photo, every sound recording, carries that truth through space. When those signals reach Earth, they arrive faint, delayed, traveling through millions of kilometers of silence. Yet they arrive. The photons reflected off red stone, the radio waves from quiet machines. They cross the void faithfully, whispering, "I'm still here. I'm still turning. I'm still calm." Mars doesn't need to speak louder than that. Its lesson has always been in presence, not proclamation. The planet asks for nothing but to exist as it is, untouched, unhurried, complete. To understand it is to understand peace in its purest form, the peace that remains after sound, after motion, after time. And somewhere, even now, in the vast quiet of its canyons and frozen seas, a single grain of dust shifts beneath invisible wind, the smallest movement in the universe, carrying all the grace of eternity. Mars continues, glowing softly in the dark, content to simply be. Beneath the red crust of Mars lies a quiet ocean of secrets. The ice that hides below the dust is not like the frozen water we know. It is layered, ancient, and shaped by the rhythm of seasons that last twice as long as ours. When the planet tilts toward the sun, the ice releases faint vapors, thin as breath, that drift into the air and vanish. When winter returns, the vapor falls again as frost, stitching the surface with silver threads. This cycle has continued for millions of years, a slow exchange between ground and sky, not weather, but memory. In some valleys, radar has revealed buried glaciers, preserved beneath layers of dust, thick enough to hide them from sunlight. These frozen rivers have not moved for ages, yet their shape remains perfect. Smooth, coiled glacial veins running under red stone. The stillness is deceptive. Within those frozen layers lie tiny pockets of carbon dioxide and dust that record the story of the planet ISS climate, whispering of warmer eras long past. Each layer is a line of calm history written in ice. The Martian atmosphere, though thin, performs its own soft miracles. During the day, sunlight warms the dust, causing it to rise into shimmering curtains that shift like desert mirages. At twilight, The same dust scatters light into halos, creating rings and arcs that encircle the sun in quiet geometry. From orbit, these halos appear as luminous veils moving slowly through copper skies, fragile as silk. They are not weather in the human sense. They are the planet's way of breathing light. At night, those same particles become the canvas for faint auroras. Mars no longer has a global magnetic field, but remnants of magnetism linger in patches of crust. When solar wind brushes against them, invisible light flickers above the surface. It's not bright enough to see with the human eye, but instruments record it, soft ultraviolet ribbons gliding silently through the thin air. The planet, though mostly quiet, still hums faintly in color. Even in stillness, it remembers motion. In the northern plains, remnants of ancient river deltas lie preserved in stone. Channels converge like veins, frozen mid-beat, their beds lined with rounded pebbles that once rolled in water. These fossils of flow are evidence that Mars was once alive with movement, that billions of years ago, lakes shimmered beneath its skies and rivers carved through rock. Now those channels rest under dust, but the shapes remain perfect. Mars keeps its history like a painting, visible, silent, complete. The soil here is rich in minerals that would shine if touched by water again. Iron gives the red hue, silica reflects light in soft golds, magnesium and sulfur wait in crystal form. Each element rests in perfect stillness, preserved as though time stopped mid-gesture. If moisture returned, even for a moment, those minerals would bloom again, releasing color into the air. Mars holds potential the way a sleeping seed holds spring. The thin air, though too weak to carry sound, carries motion. Tiny whirlwinds, dust devils, move across the surface, rising gently into the sky. They look like smoke from unseen fires, twisting and dissolving into the horizon. On Earth, such storms would roar. Here, they glide. Their paths trace delicate spirals across the plains, leaving momentary imprints that fade with the next gust. The world remains unchanged, always returning to calm. The temperature gradients across the planet create delicate patterns of frost at dawn. In shadowed craters, these patterns resemble lace, fine, intricate filigree made of frozen carbon dioxide. As sunlight creeps in, the frost sublimates, and the patterns vanish like morning dreams. The transformation happens so slowly that it feels eternal, yet it completes in silence. Mars paints its mornings in breath and erases them with warmth. The rocks scattered across its plains are ancient beyond measure. Some have traveled vast distances, thrown from impacts that shook the planet billions of years ago. Others have remained where they formed, unmoved since the first cooling of its crust. Every stone is a page of cosmic memory, the story of fire turning to dust, of violence turning to calm. Their colors tell time not by hours or days, but by endurance. The craters, too, hold echoes of time's patience. Some are so vast they form their own weather patterns, creating subtle winds that swirl endlessly within their rims. In the largest, mist occasionally forms at dawn, thin, ghostly clouds rolling through valleys that never hear a sound. The air within those basins stays cooler, the light dimmer. If stillness had a scent, it would live there, hidden in the hollow of shadowed rock. The gravity of Mars is gentle, and because of that, the world feels lighter in every sense. Dust drifts instead of falling, clouds linger instead of moving, and the horizon stretches farther than the mind expects. To stand there would feel like being suspended between ground and sky, neither belonging fully to one nor the other. Every step would feel deliberate, measured, meditative. On Mars, even movement becomes an act of peace. Meteorites continue to fall here from time to time, carving small, perfect circles in the ground. The impacts are soft compared to Earth's. Less atmosphere means less resistance, less fire, more precision. The craters form cleanly, their edges sharp, their centers powdered in fine dust. Over time, the wind smooths those edges until they blend seamlessly into the landscape. Creation and erosion working hand in hand, balance made visible. Somewhere beneath its crust, scientists suspect Mars still stirs faintly with heat. Seismic readings show small tremors, Marsquakes, rippling through rock at unpredictable intervals. These quakes are not violent, they are murmurs. The planet adjusts its weight, shifts its memories, then returns to silence. Even in sleep, it dreams. High above, thin cirrus clouds stretch across the horizon. Made of frozen water crystals, they drift with a grace that feels eternal. When sunlight strikes them from below, they glow faintly blue, coloring the sky in ways no other world can replicate. They are reminders that even in its coldest air, Mars still remembers softness. The planet's light reaches Earth as a calm, steady hue, red but not harsh, glowing but not bright. Ancient astronomers saw that glow and felt it pull at their imagination. They gave Mars the names of gods and heroes, not realizing they were naming a world of rest, not battle. Through centuries of telescopes and dreams, humanity has looked toward that light and seen reflection, not of ambition, but of endurance. On some nights, Earth and Mars face each other across space, their orbits aligned so that their light mingles for a moment. Photons leaving one world meet those from the other, crossing paths in silence. The space between them is filled with that quiet intersection, a bridge built entirely of patience. The same stillness that fills Mars extends outward, touching everything that looks toward it. If one could float above the planet, high enough to see its curve against the black of space, the view would reveal a serenity unmatched anywhere. The horizon glows faintly with sunlight refracted through dust, a soft halo separating red from void. The world below would seem asleep, its scars softened by distance, its plains merging into endless calm. From that height, Mars looks less like a planet and more like an idea, the idea that even lifeless things can embody peace. In certain regions, mineral salts form delicate deposits, streaks of pale blue and white winding down crater slopes. These deposits shimmer faintly under the sun, reflecting light like powdered glass. Scientists believe they were left by evaporating water long ago. The final traces of Martian seas turned to dust. The sight of them evokes both nostalgia and hope. A world that once held water may hold it again. For now, it keeps its promise quietly beneath the surface. Even its thin sky carries beauty invisible to the eye. Instruments orbiting Mars detect faint waves in the atmosphere, oscillations caused by temperature shifts and gravity. They rise and fall like invisible tides, moving air gently across the planet. If sound could travel there, it would resemble a slow, low hum, the sound of equilibrium. Instead, that rhythm exists only in motion, not in noise. Mars hums through movement alone. Over time, as dust accumulates and wind reshapes it, the planet renews itself endlessly. No matter how many storms pass, how many rocks fall, the surface returns to balance. The red plains remain smooth, the shadows return to their soft places, the cycle of light and cold continues. The calm is absolute. Mars, in its eternal rotation, teaches that peace is not fragile. It is the natural state of everything left undisturbed. Even now, as we gaze from afar, the light leaving its surface travels silently across space. It passes through the darkness without fading, reaching our eyes with the same quiet warmth that has always defined it. That light is not just reflection, it's a message, one that says, I am here, turning slowly, glowing softly, endlessly calm. Mars remains a reminder that silence is not emptiness, it is fullness measured differently. Every rock, every dust grain, every shadow carries a heartbeat too slow to hear. The planet is alive, not in movement, but in meaning. Proof that stillness itself can be a form of life. Mars turns slowly beneath the light of the sun, following its orbit with the patience of something that has never known haste. Each revolution takes nearly twice as long as Earth's, yet there's no sense of delay, only rhythm. The planet moves through the darkness like a thought repeating itself softly, complete in every cycle. When sunlight reaches it, the energy is faint, half the warmth that touches Earth. Yet even that small gift creates wonder. The thin air bends light around dust, turning every morning into a watercolor of copper and violet. The first rays do not pierce, they glide. They move across canyons and craters, filling them with slow gold. Nothing reacts quickly here. Time itself has learned to breathe. Scientists who have studied Mars call its orbit eccentric. It stretches slightly, so the planet moves closer and then farther from the Sun each year. That subtle shift changes everything. The shapes of frost at dawn, the color of dust in the air, the whisper of wind over dunes. The planet responds to distance the way a heartbeat responds to rest, slowing, deepening, quieting. Its seasons arrive like thoughts, one fading seamlessly into the next. Every 2 Earth years, Mars and our world draw closest to each other. Across the void, their light meets halfway, the blue of home and the red of stillness mingling in silence. In that moment, something ancient passes between them, a conversation older than sound. Perhaps it is simply gravity speaking to itself, or perhaps it is something gentler. The universe reminding both worlds that separation is never complete. Deep below the surface, the planet keeps small mysteries. Seismic whispers hint at motion far beneath the crust, soft murmurs of rock shifting in the dark. These Marsquakes are not violent. They arrive like sighs, releasing pressure, rearranging silence. The planet stretches, adjusts, then settles again. It is the soundless rhythm of a world still alive in patience. The atmosphere above those quiet tremors holds another secret, faint traces of methane that appear and disappear with the seasons. The gas drifts through thin air like perfume, rising in the warmth of summer and fading when winter comes. No one knows its true source, perhaps chemistry between minerals and sunlight, perhaps something deeper. The mystery lingers like a question, asked softly but never forced to answer. Mars keeps its secrets gently. High in its fragile sky, invisible ribbons of magnetism twist above the crust. They are remnants of a magnetic field that once encircled the planet, protecting its air. Now they flicker only in patches, local and delicate. When solar wind touches them, faint auroras shimmer in ultraviolet light, unseen by human eyes. They pass over the surface like silent music, light without sound, motion without disturbance. Even stripped of its shield, Mars still glows in dignity. From the upper atmosphere, thin clouds drift eastward at speeds faster than the ground below. They form waves, atmospheric tides that circle the planet daily, invisible but precise. Instruments detect them as subtle pulses of pressure, rising and falling like the slow heartbeat of air itself. To watch their trace is to see the planet breathing, a measured inhale of sunlight, a quiet exhale into cold. During southern summer, when Mars tilts toward the sun, vast storms sometimes awaken. They begin as gentle breezes lifting dust into the sky, then spread until they cover entire continents. Yet even at their largest, they remain graceful. No thunder breaks the calm, no lightning scars the dark. The world simply dims, wrapped in golden haze. When the storm subsides, the surface re-emerges, unchanged and somehow cleaner. Mars restores itself through stillness. At the poles, sunlight touches the frozen caps at shallow angles. The ice sublimates directly into vapor, rising in slow spirals that fade into the sky. This vapor forms thin, icy clouds that drift for thousands of kilometers before falling again as frost. The process repeats endlessly, a soft circuit between Earth and sky. In those cycles, the planet's calm becomes visible, the art of movement without noise. When night falls, the temperature drops swiftly. The air thins further, and crystals of frost grow on every surface. Rocks, sand, even the silent shells of old landers. Under starlight, that frost reflects faint blue light, turning the world into a frozen ocean of glitter. It is so quiet that the only motion comes from the expansion and contraction of cold metal, a tiny echo against the vastness of space. The night of Mars is a cathedral of still air. Above that frozen stillness, Phobos races across the sky. It rises in the west, glides overhead, and sets in the east in less than 7 hours. Its small shadow moves swiftly over the surface, tracing dark ellipses across plains of dust. From Earth, the moon appears as a dot. From Mars, it is a companion in motion, always near, always fleeting. Deimos follows later, slower, distant, watching with calm composure. Their orbits are two expressions of balance, one restless, one serene. Sometimes meteors sweep through the Martian sky, streaks of light without sound. They burn briefly, silently, then disappear. The atmosphere is too thin for thunder, too gentle for echoes. Only the light remains, falling like silver threads through crimson air. The planet's night accepts them as it accepts everything, quietly, gratefully, without resistance. In certain places, rocks cracked by cold and heat form geometric patterns, circles and polygons etched across the ground. These shapes are born from the expansion of frozen soil, repeating year after year. To fly over them is to see nature's calm handwriting stretched across valleys and plains, messages of patience carved by temperature and time. Mars writes its poetry in geometry. Even its colors change with the seasons. In winter, the north turns pale, dusted with frost. In summer, the equator darkens as winds sweep fine sand into new patterns. These subtle transformations happen on a planetary scale, yet they unfold so slowly that no eye could ever witness them directly. Change here is measured not in days, but in centuries. The planet is never still, yet it never hurries. From orbit, scientists observe strange magnetic anomalies clustered across the southern hemisphere, lines of invisible force frozen in ancient rock. They form patterns that echo the planet's lost magnetic field, as though Mars remembers what it once was and hums faintly in nostalgia. When charged particles from the sun pass overhead, they awaken these buried fields, creating soft auroral glows that sweep across the surface unseen. Mars glows from memory, not from flame. The thin air carries traces of oxygen and ozone, faint but persistent. Sunlight splits molecules, and the fragments drift, recombine, separate again. Chemistry here moves like thought, slow, repeating, eternal. The process produces faint heat, invisible motion, small balances that keep the planet breathing. Even without life, Mars behaves like something alive. At the heart of this quiet world lies a core still warm with remnant heat. It no longer drives volcanoes or quakes of power, but its temperature holds steady, radiating faint energy through rock. That heat seeps upward slowly, meeting frozen soil and transforming it into layers of glassy minerals. Over eons, that warmth may carve new cavities, tiny chambers of possibility hidden deep within. The planet's heart still beats, too slowly for clocks, too steadily for doubt. And above all this, the sky remains constant. Thin clouds drift, stars burn cold, and the horizon glows softly red. There is no wind strong enough to erase the footprints of the rovers that wandered here. They remain small trails of intention etched into dust. Even now, when some of those machines have fallen silent, their presence endures, proof that curiosity can live peacefully beside calm. Every signal sent from them travels for minutes through the emptiness between worlds. Radio waves cross space like whispers carried on light. When they reach us, they bring not only data but the feeling of distance made beautiful. Each transmission is a quiet echo of human patience, a voice saying, "We see you, we're listening." And Mars, in its steady orbit, responds in kind, not with sound, but with reflection. Its red glow reaches back toward Earth, visible from our night skies. That glow is constant, gentle, unwavering, a reminder that serenity is possible even in the cold. To look up at it is to look into the still heart of motion itself. In all the silence of its valleys, in every frozen riverbed and sleeping volcano, Mars holds a truth that can stand to be measured in temperature or chemistry, that peace does not depend on life or warmth. It exists whenever movement finds balance, whenever light finds shadow. Mars is the universe's soft proof that even a world of dust can glow. As the planet continues its orbit, sunlight returns again to its poles. Frost melts into air, dust drifts, and shadows shift across plains that have seen billions of dawns. Nothing ends here, everything continues. In the calm of that repetition, Mars remains exactly what it has always been, a quiet companion to our restless blue world, circling the same star, teaching us, from across the darkness, how to rest. As our quiet journey across the red world comes to an end, take one last slow breath and imagine the planet turning beneath an endless sea of stars. The storms have settled. The dust has fallen still. Every shadow rests exactly where it belongs. Mars drifts on in silence, untouched by hurry, its light carrying across the darkness toward us. It glows not to be seen, but simply because that is what calm things do. They shine without effort. In its canyons, the frost deepens, glittering under the dim warmth of a distant sun. In its valleys, old riverbeds lie unchanged, tracing the memory of motion now turned to rest. The air is thin, yet enough to carry the faintest whisper of wind, moving dust one grain at a time. Every moment on this planet is deliberate. Every pause is eternal. When you think of Mars now, let it no longer be the planet of conflict, but of peace. Let its patience remind you that motion can be gentle, that silence can be full, that distance does not mean disconnection. The red light you see from Earth each night is not the color of war, but of warmth, the quiet ember of a world that has learned to simply exist. Somewhere in that stillness, the rovers rest, their cameras filled with the last images of dawn. Their paths fade beneath the settling dust, but their purpose remains, proof that curiosity can live within calm, that exploration does not always mean noise. They have joined the planet's rhythm, sleeping when it sleeps, dreaming when it dreams. Together, machine and world hum softly in the same unbroken silence. Mars will keep turning long after we close our eyes tonight, its orbit steady, its light constant. It will continue to watch over us from the edge of the sky, a quiet companion reminding us that peace is never far away. It only asks to be noticed. Just as the planet balances between day and night, warmth and cold, you too can rest between thought and stillness, between breath and dream. Let your mind settle into that same rhythm now. Feel the weight of your thoughts sink gently, like dust settling after wind. Let them rest upon the surface of your consciousness, unmoving, glowing softly. You are part of the same stillness, part of the same orbit. There is no need to try. Everything is already in balance. Thank you for joining the Sleepy Scientist tonight. If this quiet exploration brought you peace, you're welcome to return anytime to drift again among the calm worlds of science, where knowledge becomes rest and curiosity finds quiet. Until next time, may your dreams be steady as Mars's orbit, your breath soft as its dawn, and your sleep as deep as the silence between the stars. Good night.